Hello, this is Jay Black with the Winter Springs Dental Lab. In this webinar, we're going to go over what is new with the inLab CAD and CAM 19 software. First of all, we're going to have a new rebranding of Dentsply Sirona. For our inLab apps, we have a new format available now called .appcam, so it can be directly imported into the inLab CAM software. You don't need an STL license anymore, so that applies to the inLab model, inLab partial framework, and the inLab splint. In the inLab Software 19 model app, we used to have only one model analog available. That was the NT Trading DIM analog. Now we have another model analog we can use as well. It's called the ELOS. The height of the model base can be set separately for the upper and lower jaw. In the past, whatever you had the upper and lower set to, say it was 5 millimeters, both the upper and lower would both increase the height of the model by 5 millimeters. Now you can change the upper and lower to be different. And models can be designed from Atlantis core files now. So before, when we get an Atlantis core file, we were unable to make a model because the abutment was separate from the model. Now the inLab software closes the gap between the model and the abutment, and we can print those models. We have a new text labeling tool in the inLab splint and model software. You just go over to the right hand side of the screen and put in the text that you want to go on the model. With a single click, you'll put it on the upper, and then a single click to put it on the lower. Virtual seating is now improved, especially for implant supported restorations. In the past, we'd have an area when we would virtually seat it, and sometimes the abutment wouldn't show up perfectly because the area beneath it wasn't cleaned out. Now the software will go ahead and clean that out, and we have a reduce tool available. It's a partial reduce tool for one-to-one copy cases, and I'll go over that. So you can see here for virtual seating, especially for implant type restorations, it will go ahead and make a bounding box underneath, so it's nice and clean, and you're able to print these models now. So we have a partial reduction tool for all of our one-to-one copy cases. This is really cool. Currently you can only use one line at this point. So here's an example. So for this one-to-one copy case, let's say we wanted to reduce the gingiva so we could layer ceramic. We'll go ahead and just draw our line on our tissue where we want it to be reduced, one single line, and let it know how much the reduction strength you want, and click apply, and then you'll get a reduced area for layering ceramic or composite. You can also, instead of reducing the gingiva, you can go ahead and reduce the teeth themselves with one single line. You go ahead and outline the teeth and click reduce, and that way you can layer ceramic. Or you can go ahead and partially reduce the entire restoration. We also have integration of the INEOS X5 into the exocad scan workflow, and this would be called .dental project format. Also, we had STL scan data in the past where we would import it in, and sometimes we'd have to cut off the base. Now, whenever you have STL scan data with the model base, it automatically is cut and opens it up for you. And the INEOS Blue is no longer supported in inLab Software 19. For the inLab CAM 19.0 software, we also have the new rebranding Dentsply Sirona. What's really cool is we have improved milling times with the inLab MCX5. It's a lot faster thanks to accelerated machine movements, reduction of the amount of tool changes that it has to do, and a faster stop and restart process. I've noticed my milling times have been a lot faster, and you can actually see the machine moving a lot faster in there. inLab CAM 19 new process options: the grinding of abutment crowns with screw channel access, such as Celtra Duo. So let's say you have just a regular titanium base and you want to do a Celtra or a ceramic crown on it. You can now use the screw channel tool for those particular cases and mill them with the MCX5. We have some different pinning options available that I'll go through in next slide. And we have for our digital dentures now, there's more material clearance for access for putting in, for bonding teeth around your sockets. All right, so here's an example of a all-on-4 that's ready to be milled. We have different sprue options. We have one up here that is the wide thinned, or you can choose thinned sprue. Down at the bottom we have the not thin sprue, and this is a really cool new addition here. It is called a cut sprue. So after it goes ahead and puts all your sprues on there, mills them all out, you can have the option to, hey, go ahead and cut that one off after you're done. We use this a lot on PMMA cases, wax cases. It's a really neat feature. inLab CAM 19.0 third-party data processing. Now we have optimized processing from Stronach Bridge designs with screw channels. So before, when we get cases in that were STLs, we'd have some issues sometimes with the screw channel. Now these are more optimized. And we have a new button down here. So fitting surface can be adjusted when the restoration design doesn't correspond to the configuration of the machine. So what this means is, let's say you design this restoration for a different machine, you have the option now to, instead of going back to the CAD software and redesign it for that particular machine, you can just go ahead and click this button and it will adjust the fitting surface to the tools that are in your mill. We have some new analyzing tools in the CAM software which I really like. One is called Milling Simulation. It shows the production results based on the positioning, production options, and the pinning and machine tool configuration. Also, we have a wall thickness visualization. It shows wall thickness in critical areas. And we have our cursor details where we can see the different thicknesses of our restorations. So for this particular all-on-4 case, you can see if we chose very high and normal and have the sprues in these particular areas, it'll show what areas won't mill out as well as we would like to. And for the next slide, you can see the difference between very high and if you choose high. If you choose high on this, there'll be a few more extra areas that won't be milled out. And you can do the same thing for low. You can change the sprues and see exactly what areas are not going to mill out like you want. Also, we have wall thickness analyzing tool. Here we can go ahead and see that, on this particular area we have some thin spots, so we're probably going to get chipping, so we'll know to go back and adjust that area in our design software. Multi-layer bridges. Let's say we wanted to go ahead and split our case into a top layer and a bottom layer, just design it full contour with gingiva, and wherever our tooth, our restoration touches the gingiva is where the software is going to split it into a top and bottom layer once you click on Edit Multilayer. So you can see here it went ahead and split it into a bottom gingiva area with preps and a top layer with either bridges or single units. You can choose whichever you want. Also, in the past, we didn't have the most perfect prep after we went ahead and clicked on Edit Multilayer, but now we have much smoother preps in the 19 software. You have the option to use the scale tool and move our preps up and down, or you can go ahead and completely turn them into sockets, whichever you want, using the scale tool. So then you'll have your top layer and your bottom layers. In this particular case, we milled this out of Lucitone 199, and the top layer out of whatever you want. Put them together, and you have your restoration. Or you can choose to print your multi-layer. All right, next we have inLab CAM 19.0 third-party data processing. Now we have a validated interface for import from exocad restoration data. It'll be imported as a dot construction info. We have some new materials. We have the Stronach XT Multilayer, and now we can also choose 35 millimeter disc capability for milling of digital dentures. We really love this Stronach XT Multilayer. Has a normal green adapter ring like the Stronach XT. It's very easy to differentiate as multilayer in the middle. Very easy to read. Instead of having the numbers on the side only, it has them on the top. So it's very easy to go ahead and load your disc into the CAD or the CAM software. We have two different keyways here. This one at the top is for positioning in third-party mills, and the one at the bottom is for positioning the inLab MCX5. What really differentiates the Stronach XT Multilayer is the different transitional layers in the incisal and the dentin that we have here. In all of the discs, the 14, 18, and 25 millimeter, we have 20% incisal and 60% dentin. This really helps to get truer shades and not have too much incisal, and we really have liked this multi-layer material. And every different shade, A1, A2, A3, A3.5, they all have their own incisal that was made for that particular color. Here's an example of the Stronach XT Multilayer in the CAM19 software. You can see that the top we have the 20% incisal and the 60% dentin here at the bottom. It leads us to a lot better shades. Traditional multi-layers that you can see over on the right just have too much incisal and not enough dentin, so it's really hard to get the right shade, and there's always too much incisal, always ends up being gray. With the Stronach XT Multilayer, we see a lot truer shades, and we usually move our restorations all the way up to the top. And you can see if you want more incisal, you'll raise it higher in the disc. Less incisal, you'll bring it lower in the disc. We have something new called the Stronach Connect Case Center Inbox. So it makes digital impressioning accessible for every lab. You have access to the largest installed base of intraoral scanners in the world. You download the software for the secure reception of digital impression data. Download of scan data is open and validated formats. Automatic data import into inLab or exocad software. It's really cool because if you have, let's say, 10 cases that came in and you want them all just automatically downloaded into inLab software, you can go ahead and do that. Or if you have exocad, you can go ahead and just say, hey, download all these cases into exocad, and if you import it into inLab or exocad, you will get the margin with it as well. I want to thank you for joining me for the inLab 19 CAD and CAM webinar. Have a great day.